Today I'll be talking about how to register your food products with NAFDAC. I would want us to turn off all forms of distractions. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Virtuoso. I'm a baker, I'm a YouTube creator, I'm a coach, the beginner bakers coach actually, where I help beginner bakers with simple strategies that help them start, structure, and grow their business. Also, some of my products and services include, for my products, I offer cakes, chin-chin, small chop smoothies, and parfait basically. Then I also run a baking school where I teach bakers, beginner bakers, how to bake cakes. Then I do that online and also on site. I also run coaching sessions, like I help beginner bakers through my coaching sessions. I also run coaching sessions for people that want to register their food products with NAFDAC, which is why I'm conducting this training. Writing. So let me know in the comment section what you do. Okay, so why should you care, or why am I running this training? One, because for over 10 years now, I've had experience in the food industry, and I've also successfully registered a food product, chin chin. Then next, I understand some of the challenges that businesses and business owners go through to register their products with NAFDAC. So that's one of the reasons why I'm running this training. I also understand some of the challenges also that business owners go through in Nigeria, our home country. I'm currently in Nigeria, Asaba, Delta State, Nigeria. Let me know in the comment section where you're watching me from. So because of the challenges I had to go through during my NAFDAC registration process, I felt a lot of business owners will probably be going through such challenges or even more. So that was how I decided to help other business owners, food business owners, to register their products with NAFDAC. So I came up with a framework I call OISE framework. My vision is really to help at least 100,000 food business owners to register products with NAFDAC successfully. So I achieved this through my personal framework, the OISE framework. The O stands for overcome, where I help them to overcome the fears, okay? The fears these business owners may have about registering their products with NAFDAC. And the next, inform stage, where I inform them or let them know about the entire NAFDAC registration process, what it's all about. Then the simplify stage, where I break down the whole process into smaller achievable units. When you break down bigger goals into smaller bits, it's always easier, or it looks easier to achieve, right? Then the empower stage. So the empower phase, at this stage, I help these business owners, give them access to documents, coaching, receive their NAFDAC registration process. Part of this dream is having my YouTube channel where I share free content on how you can actually register your food business with NAFDAC. Okay, so that's the OISE framework. So this is my intellectual property. I designed this model and this framework to help fellow food business owners, okay, navigate through the NAFDAC registration process. So this training is actually a free training as part of this. And after this training, you'll be able to overcome the fear of NAFDAC registration. Some people, the moment you call that name NAFDAC, it just strikes a chord of fear, like people are scared. So after this training, you'll be able to overcome that fear. Also, you'll be able to know the NAFDAC registration process. You'll also be able to know the documents you need for your NAFDAC registration. You'll be able to break down the process into smaller achievable units that you can easily achieve, right? Then also, I will show you how you can access the 40 plus pages documents that you need for your NAFDAC registration process. It was actually a bit difficult for me to get my documents together because there was limited information online. So that's it basically. So I'm helping other business owners, especially food business owners, to register their food products with information I share with them. So what is NAFDAC? Some people don't even know what NAFDAC really is. So what is NAFDAC? NAFDAC is an acronym, okay, for National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control. And NAFDAC is actually a Nigerian government agency. Some people may may not really know about NAFDAC, maybe if you're living outside, but if you're living outside the country, if you're going to sell some of the products I'm going to mention very soon in Nigeria, then you would need a NAFDAC registration number. Okay. Government is responsible for regulating and controlling the manufacture, importation, exportation, distribution, advertisement, sale, and use of food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, chemicals, and packaged water. So that's the role of NAFDAC. They do a whole lot. NAFDAC is a regulatory body in Nigeria. What are the products that you register with NAFDAC? They are actually food, drugs, cosmetics, medical devices, chemicals, and packaged water. So why should you register your products with NAFDAC? One of the reasons why you need to register your product with NAFDAC is that if you intend to put up this your products for the general public, then you have to register that product with NAFDAC. If people are going to consume this product, except maybe it's just for you, your family members, and I know that's not why you're in business. You want people to buy from you in bulk, then you need a NAFDAC registration number. Number two, it's illegal to sell packaged goods. These ones that I've mentioned without registering them with NAFDAC. And it can lead to destruction of those goods if NAFDAC finds them, because they visit supermarkets from time to time. And it can lead to you paying a fine for that because it's illegal. One of the reasons you also need to register your product with NAFDAC is to increase your sales, right? Because there are some supermarkets that would never accept your product if you're not registered with NAFDAC. For instance, ShopRite, Market Square, Spar, the requirement is that you have to register your products with NAFDAC. In fact, NAFDAC goes to inspect those big shops and some of those shops, from time to time. Right? Then another reason why you have to also register your product with NAFDAC is to increase acceptance, prestige, and image of your products. There are some people that will never buy food products, especially, or even maybe cosmetics, if that product doesn't have a NAFDAC registration, or because you know how they produced, those goods, and people really want something that is certified by NAFDAC because they know that when NAFDAC certifies a product, then that product is good, right? Another reason is for the safety of lives. You don't want people to have issues of food poisoning issues because they had to eat your product. So that's why we need to register, our products with NAFDAC. So the overcome stage, where I mentioned that I would be helping you overcome the fear of registering your products with NAFDAC. That name NAFDAC really strikes a chord of fear in the hearts of people. It could be fear of not meeting NAFDAC standard when they come to you, maybe for inspection and all that. It could be fear of not having enough money for the whole registration process. It could also be fear of the consequences of not even having our products registered with NAFDAC, because sometimes if you have to go to all those supermarkets, they could check for names, they could check for phone numbers on those products that are not registered, and that could mean people paying for fines. Are the reasons why you or people are afraid of that name NAFDAC. My life coach said you cannot really achieve what your mind has not conceived. So two major ways you can overcome this fear, or fear generally, of this NAFDAC registration process is that you change your mindset and begin to embrace the benefits that come with NAFDAC registration. The fact that your brand becomes more acceptable, that you can increase your sales, you can increase your profit. The fact that people your product is certified and is safe for human consumption. You can just change your mindset, embrace the benefit that come in NAFDAC registration, believe that you can register for it, and then work towards it. I know some people are scared, it involves a lot of money and all that, but if you can even start by believing that you can work, that you can achieve it, then you can. If you believe you can, then you can. There will always be a way out. With this, or trying to overcome the fear, we have to move from having a fixed mindset, that belief that this is how you were born, and you have this intelligence, you don't even want to change the way you are. You don't want to learn something new. You have to move from having a fixed mindset to having a growth mindset. And the more you have a growth mindset believes that there's more to learn. That you can learn, you can add, you can learn more every single day. There's something new you can learn. And the moment you move from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset, you will see that you will not be afraid anymore of the whole NAFDAC registration process. Remember that you cannot achieve what your mind has not conceived. So if you believe it, then you can achieve it. Okay, you can achieve the NAFDAC registration process. Things I mentioned is for you to move from having the fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So instead of giving up, tell yourself that I could try a different way. In case you've already started the NAFDAC registration process and you're tired already, just tell yourself, I could try a different way. I could be better at this. Instead of saying, I can't do this, you can tell yourself, I don't know how to do this yet, but I know I'm going to figure it out. Someone might have tried the whole thing. Maybe they rejected your product, it didn't pass their test and all that. Someone may have failed. Just tell yourself, mistakes are how and learn and become better. Don't say it's too hard. This NAFDAC registration process, NAFDAC and their wahala. Don't say that. Just know that it may take some time, okay, but you will eventually be able to register your product with NAFDAC. All right. So this is the way to go and overcome this fear. So say to yourself, I'll register my product with NAFDAC because it's the right thing to do. And if it's the right thing to do, you want to do the right thing. You don't want to have products, illegal products on shelves of supermarkets and running here and there. So tell yourself you have to register. No matter how hard it is, you have to register, and you'll be able to register because it's the right thing to do. And you also tell yourself that I have all the resources I need for this NAFDAC registration process. I will start the registration process right now and I will achieve great results. So you have to tell yourself that and see yourself achieving it very soon. Then the stage 2 is to inform you about all you need to know about the NAFDAC registration process. I'm here to let you know that it's not so difficult as people think it is actually. So I'm here to break it down and debunk all fears. So these are the stages in the NAFDAC registration process. The first thing I always advise people to do is the documentation. I'm going to run you through all the documents you need. So the moment you get all your documents, okay, the first thing I always advise people to do is the documentation. Okay, start with your documentation. I'll be mentioning a whole lot of documents that you need. In fact, during my own registration, I think my documents were probably more than 40 or maybe 50 pages. And remember, you have to also photocopy this document because you have to submit 2 sets of it. So just start with your documentation, right? Then two, submitting of application letter and those documents you've already compiled to NAFDAC. That's the second stage. Then 3, submitting of this application letter and documents. The first stage is done online. Then 3, payment for registration. It's also done online. As soon as you're done with your registration, submitting some of the documents that will be asked you online, you would also arrange all those documents and submit the hard copies of those documents. In fact, when you're registering online, some of these documents will be asked. They'll ask you for some of these documents. Then the other documents, you will just package all those documents and submit it. But you can start with the online registration because they will ask you a lot of things. Then after the registration online, immediately you have to make payment. Okay, after filling out all those requirements or whatever information they ask you, now make payment online. The next phase, which is number 4, is vetting and correction of those documents by NAFDAC. So you have to get all those documents you submitted online, some of them, all the documents I'll be mentioning very soon. You have to get all those documents and send them to the NAFDAC office in charge of your location for vetting and corrections. So that's it. So when they have vetted the documents, they will give you some corrections to make. The next phase is scheduling and inspection of your facility. They're going to schedule a date for you when they are going to come to inspect your facility, where you intend to carry out your production space. Then they are going to inspect, they'll schedule, they'll send some officials to come and inspect the place. If your production space meets their requirements, then if it does, fine. But if it doesn't meet the requirement, they will tell you some of the corrections you have to make. The next, which is the sixth one, is the collection of your product sample. Usually when they come, they will collect a sample of the products that you have or that you have produced, right, for their own laboratory analysis. This is done by NAFDAC. Then the seventh stage is approval of your facility and also approval of your products, which they have sent to the NAFDAC office, the NAFDAC laboratory. They would approve. So if those products don't meet to their standard, then they will tell you what to do, corrections to make, right? And then the final stage is the final vetting, approval, meeting, and issuance of an NAFDAC registration number and certificate, which is where everyone is excited to have it. Okay, so the stage 3 or the third stage is the stage I call the simplify, where I break down the NAFDAC process into smaller achievable units for you so that you can easily achieve these smaller units. So these are the documents you would need for your NAFDAC registration process. I have done some videos. I have a playlist here on YouTube, V Classic Foods, dedicated to NAFDAC registration. Everything you need to, major things you need to know about your documents and some information you need to know about these documents. I also did a video on that. I also did a video telling you how your production space or facility should be like. So I'm going to be mentioning these documents that you require for your NAFDAC registration process. The first one is the CAC certificate. So this is the one I always advise you to get first, because without your CAC certificate, you won't be able to get your trademark certificate. Okay, so you get your CAC certificate first. Then with your CAC certificate, you now go for your trademark certificate. And most times when you go for trademark certificate, if the name you used on your CAC is not available, they will ask you to choose another name for your product. So that's what happens with trademark. So the earlier you do your trademark, the better for you. The third document you need to submit is your product label. I've also done a detailed video on my YouTube channel, because if I go into that, this training will be longer than expected. Okay, so go to my playlist. You would see a detailed video about the product label, what it should be like, and the things that should be on your product label. Then the next document is the batch formulation, okay, that shows your different ingredients you use in descending order. Okay, the different ingredients, and then the quantity that you use in your production to make a batch of product, right? Then you have your application letter to NAFDAC. Then you also have your list of production equipment. Also, it's another document you need to submit to NAFDAC, showing the different production equipment that you would require or you use in your production. You also have another document, the source of water document, that shows the source of water you use. Is it borehole water and all that you mentioned? Then there's another document called the borehole analysis document, usually provided by the person that rented the facility to you, to show if the water is good, how deep the depth and all that of the water, if the water is even safe for human consumption, right? You also have the ninth document, the company organogram, that shows the hierarchy in the organization, how the work flows. You have the list of raw materials and their sources. What are the raw materials that you use in production, and what are their sources, right? Then you have the certificate of analysis of your finished product. You take your finished product to a laboratory, right? NAFDAC is going to do their own analysis, but you will also take yours to a laboratory to give you some basic things that are both minerals, like the fiber content, sugar level, and all that. Some laboratories, when you go there, they already know what to do. That's the 11th document. The 12th document is the production manager's document. And here, the production manager's school certificate, NYSC discharge, application letter, acceptance letter, letter of appointment. There's a way to it, to all these documents. Also, you would need the fumigation certificate, usually provided by the vendor. And there's also a way to prepare this document, letterhead, paper, and there are other things that should also be involved preparing these documents. You also have your production flowchart document. okay, that shows the way your production flows from the first your activities, different in like boxes, right? And then you have the medical fitness certificate slash a food handlers test for your production staff. You if you're also involved in production, you would need to also do this food handlers test, okay, or the medical fitness test. There are a list of things like chest x-rays. You can check the NAFDAC website for all those, the list of the things, the tests that you will run for your production staff. Then next, you also need a copy of your receipt of payment for the product registration, the one you did online. You need to print out that receipt and you need a copy of it when submitting all your documents. Then the next set of documents is a standard operating procedures for production, distribution, product recall, handling customer complaint, quality control, and cleaning of environment and equipment. There are 6 SOPs in all. You have to standard operating procedures. They're just written instructions showing how a particular task should be done. So how will you carry out this production, the distribution, product recall, handling customer complaint, quality control, and cleaning of environment and equipment? So this is basically all the documents you need. Of course, this is for small and medium scale businesses. If you're registering a very big company, like, then you would require more documents. And also, if you're importing the product you want to package, okay, or you're trying to get NAFDAC registration number for, then there are other things you would also be asked for. But these are basic documents you need for your NAFDAC registration process. Then please note, ensure that you prepare these documents accurately. Get professional help if you can. Although some people may want to exploit and all that, because I even had to pay someone during my own time some money to do this document, like to help me prepare these documents professionally, but the person did not really do it. I ended up doing it because the truth is, for someone to prepare these documents for you, they need your input, right? These are documents you're going to use in your company. So it's as good as you doing it. If you know how to do it professionally, you can get professional help. Okay, ask questions to know how to prepare these documents. The reason is that you may have to do, like, I had to reprint my SOPs. So imagine my SOPs were about 31 pages. I had to reprint them. And for every reprinting you do, you have to photocopy 2 batches. So imagine printing, let's say 31 documents and photocopy, that's like 60 something pages. Then there's another set of corrections to be made. You have to reprint or photocopy another 60 something pages of document. That's, you're spending money. So make sure you get it right so that there'll be little or no corrections to be made. Printing of these documents after correction by NAFDAC will cost you money, time, resources. It will bring you stress. It will prolong the whole registration time because you just keep going back and forth. And it happened to me. In fact, my product label, I had to print it maybe up to 5 times because there was one correction. It's as if anytime they sit down and have meeting, they'll say remove this one, and you have to go and reprint. Then they'll say, okay, remove this part, remove this part. You have to go and reprint it. So it's good that you know all this information so that you're fully armed when you are set or when you start your registration process. So it happened to me, basically my NAFDAC story. I started registering, I started my registration in 2020 before COVID pandemic now happened and delayed the whole process. So I ended up, we spent time, by the time NAFDAC, they were ready. In fact, they even said they were doing video inspections. I was like, I wish I was, I had that opportunity for them to do the video, like more like you're on a video call. Because of the COVID, people were not really moving around. So when I visited their office, then they said they even had a session where they had to do video inspection. I would have been happy to have that kind of inspection because I'm sure it's going to be a whole lot easier than having them come. That's coming all the way down to inspect your production space and all that. So that was when I did my 2020. It delayed for like 2 years. And because the COVID pandemic happened, then also because we registered online, and I think that was the first time there was a waiver then. So I think that was the first time they were doing that waiver and online registration thing also. So it really delayed the whole process because at some point their website, they said, had some downtime and all that for that registration and all that. So it delayed the whole process. Then at some point I had to go reprinting my documents. I would go with this one, they say like my SOPs, they would say change this one, you have to put this one and all that. So that was part of the things that also delayed the process. But usually from what I heard from the NAFDAC officials, between 90 to 120 days, you should be able to, if you meet all the requirements, you'll be able to get your NAFDAC registration number. Okay, so I also have a book where all the NAFDAC registration documents I used during my time, and a lot of corrections they made for, like, for instance, the SOPs had to have page numbers, they had to have a lot of things. So I just compiled all those documents because some people were asking me lots of questions and all that. So instead of always answering questions, I just decided to write everything. And then I compiled the templates into a book format where with that template you can easily go through the entire document. You won't even need anybody's help, be able to do all your documents, NAFDAC registration documents. So I'll let you know how you can access it after this training. Then also, for me, this is the summary, and this is my own summary and advice for you. Step one, just prepare your documents. That's always my step one. Prepare your documents, right? Just make sure all these documents I mentioned, you prepare them. Put the ones that are supposed to be on your letterhead, you put them in your letterhead paper. Arrange all those documents. Then my step two will be to prepare your production space. In fact, I think this section is the one that takes bulk of the money, because the NAFDAC registration process itself and the payment, it's not so expensive, right? It's not so expensive. Although when I registered mine, there was a waiver, but it's not as expensive as getting a production space, because when you get the production space, there are so many. I did a detailed video. I created a detailed video. It's in my NAFDAC playlist on YouTube. Just watch. It's a detailed video on the production space, but you have like 4 major sections. You have the clocking room where your staff changing things, where they can change their clothes, maybe like a staff relaxation place. You have your production section. You also have the packaging section where you do your packaging, and you also have your finished goods section. With that video, it's free. Just go to the NAFDAC registration. I have on my YouTube channel here on V Classic Foods, I have a NAFDAC registration playlist dedicated to NAFDAC videos. So watch all those videos. So one, you watch all of them. They're all relevant to you if you're registering your product with NAFDAC. There's a video I dedicated to the inspection space, production space, all the things you need to do. So you can, if you can rent a place that already has these sections, right? Or you can rent maybe a long hall and then partition it. So it depends. That's step two. Prepare your production space. Then step three, which you can also that can go together with your step two. You can, while you're doing your product, you can start, so long as your documents are ready, right? And step three, my advice is then you can now do your online application at nafdac.gov.ng. That's NAFDAC official site, right? When you get to that page, go through down, you see product registration and regulation. Click on that button, then you would see it will take you to another section. Click on e-registration and it will automatically bring you to the NAPAM's page that is dedicated to registering your to do your registration of a new product. Create an account there. It's so easy. Create an account, then log into your account, then you now start the whole application process. There's some information that you need to have, like the class of your trademark, a lot of things. They will ask you the packaging size. Okay, the packaging size, for instance, if it's changing, what I registered was changing. Is it 200 grams? Is it 400 grams? Then what are you going to use to package it? They even went ahead of asking the size of that packaging material. Like for me, I use these pouches, foreign pouches for mine. So I had to write the size in cm for them for each size, because I registered product for 2 different sizes, 400-gram and 200-gram size. Step 4, when we are done with your online application, it's just a step by step. Keep putting the information step by step. And then you also need, that's why I say the first thing you need to do is to prepare your documents. Some of your documents, they will ask you for the PDF format. They will also ask you for the pictures of your product, different positions, the inner view, the outer view, the back side, the front side, everything, pictures, and then you put it in, I think that one is in PNG format. So they will ask you for that. So you have to upload all those documents. When you're done, you can now, it will take you to where you can now make payments. Then remember to print your receipt. It will also be saved on your dashboard. To be saved, there's a section for it, right? Then the thing to do is, when you have registered online, then go to the NAFDAC office in charge of your location. The NAFDAC officer is in charge of your location, and go there, submit all the documents, including the payment receipt. They will open up a file for you. Remember that these documents, you also have to have photocopies of it, because each document has to come two. Each document has to be two of those documents, right? When you submit all those documents, they will go through it, they will vet it. Then they'll go through the documents, they'll make corrections. Then you have to correction and reprint. That's why I said, make sure you have, or a professional helps you, or someone that has gone through the process helps you, so that you don't have to do so many corrections. So they'll go through your documents, they will now make some corrections, they will schedule you for inspection. That's for your facility. Then the day they will come for your facility inspection, they will also collect your product sample for the lab analysis, right? They will take it to their lab. So that's what it is. NAFDAC will schedule you for inspection for a facility, and then they'll collect product samples for laboratory analysis. The reason being that they need to know if this product is safe for human consumption or human use. Then step 7 is that NAFDAC will approve your facility and your product after the visit and after the laboratory analysis. So you'd wait for them to approve it. If there's any corrections to be made, like when they came to visit my facility, they asked that I have a first aid box, and then that my working tables have to be metal, right? So you could also put that into consideration when you're doing yours. Then they made some little corrections here and there. Then they mentioned something about having 2 doors, and a door that leads in and also an exit door, right? So it just depends. So when they visit you, they would know. Then another thing I also advise is, if you can, get to the NAFDAC office before you get your production space. If you can meet any of them, if anyone will be kind enough, or maybe you have to do a video of your space to know the space before you rent it, so that they can advise you. If the place is not okay, then they will advise you on what to do, so that you don't spend money in a production space that will not be approved. Because there are some things, just watch that video. There are some places like your production space should not be close to an abattoir where they kill animals and all that. And it shouldn't be close to a cement factory because of air pollution and all that. So usually I advise that if you can, get to the NAFDAC office that is in charge of the place where you want to do production. Maybe make friends with anyone, NAFDAC of any of them, or you tell them what you want to do. If there's an official fee, you may have to pay. But if it's like, if you have a one-on-one relationship with any one of them, I'm sure they would go with you. Maybe you have to just pay their transport or give them a token, and you will get to, they will take you to where you take them to where they will inspect this space, and then give you their honest feedback. That will now let you know whether you can actually get the space, production space, or not. Then the last step is step 8. NAFDAC will issue their NAFDAC registration, your NAFDAC registration number and certificate after they've had approval. Because then they will tell me we are going to have approval meeting. They have it, I think, monthly or so. But that particular approval meeting, they would tell you, okay, we're having a meeting so time. Let's hope that they approve your own, because there are also other people that probably came before you that were to register and all that. So That's it, basically. So that's it about the NAFDAC registration process. I hope I've been able to explain. Let me know in the comment section if you understand. Comment section also, and I will take some of your questions. Then the empower is the stage where I can give you access to the information, documents, coaching, the help you need to ensure an effective and smooth registration through the entire process. So how I do this is on my YouTube channel, V Classic Foods, where I'm currently streaming. I have free videos. Just watch those videos. I had to document the entire NAFDAC process, my journey. I'm still doing videos. I'll just store them in my NAFDAC registration playlist for everyone that wants to register their product with NAFDAC to make the whole process easy. Then I also have some ebooks. I have an ebook on SOP templates. If you want to know how to write your SOPs, it's there. The template is there. It's just for you to plug and play to edit some of the things and then understand the whole process. I also explained how you can use SOPs, standard operating procedures, to structure your business. I also did a video on that on my YouTube channel. You can also watch that. I have a book, NAFDAC Registration Documents Templates, where I compiled all the documents, over 40 pages plus documents that you need for your entire NAFDAC registration process. It also explains how are the stages, how you can get each one. For instance, your trademark certificate, you need your trademark, your CAC document to be able to get your trademark certificate. I also do paid coaching calls or done for you services. Most times, some people come to me and they want me to prepare the documents for them. I also do that. But the NAFDAC registration documents is on a 50% discount, more than 50% discount actually, and it's going for 6,999 as against 14,999. And the first 10 people that would get this document will be getting a free coaching session from me where we talk about your NAFDAC registration process, how to prepare your documents and all that. Drop the link in the comment section so that if you want to have access to these documents, you wouldn't even need any other advice. You wouldn't need to watch lots of videos like in my time. You wouldn't need to do a lot of things just to get your documents and all that. So it's so easy. I've compiled it in templates and I give a step-by-step process on how to prepare all these documents. You can even if you don't want to start your registration process, you can start now to even prepare some of these documents and just keep them. Then a document like fumigation certificate expires. In that book, informed you when you can do your fumigation so that it doesn't expire, because during my own registration, my fumigation certificate expired. So I had to do a fresh fumigation certificate. Also, my medical certificate for myself and my production staff also expired because I told you that it took me a long time. So while they were reviewing my documents for that period of COVID and all that, those documents expired. I had to do fresh sets of documents. It's contained in this book, basically. Then, if you want to get in touch with me, this is my YouTube channel where I'm streaming from, of course. So you can subscribe, turn on your notification button so that when I post new videos, you would be the first to know. I don't only post videos on NAFDAC. I also do videos on cakes because, of course, I'm a baker. I do videos on cakes, and then I also do videos on how to cook recipes. So you want to stick close to learn from me, to also get to see some of my recipes. Then on Facebook, I am Vetri Manuel Otto, and on my Instagram handle, you can follow me, Vetri_Otto at vclassiccakes_ng. Then my email address, vetriotto@gmail.com. Send me emails, let me know about this training. Drop some nice comments about this training in the comment section. Let me know. You can send me emails, okay, if you want to make inquiries, let me also know. Then my website, of course, but basically this is how you can reach me. Finally, I won't leave without letting you know that you can also get in touch with God. My life coach would always say that a life without God is meaningless. So God is the source of our lives, and life without Him makes no sense at all. So you can view some of our services online at www.smhos.org on Sundays and on Thursdays. Then you can follow my life coach David Ibiome on Instagram at David_Biome, and you can follow Salvation Ministries at SMHOS Global. You will learn different ways you can get in touch with God. So if anyone has any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching and thank you for joining me.